Of course, when I start to film, my dad has an air compressor going downstairs. And now my dog's barking. Oh, just turned off. Okay. Might actually be able to film now. Hey there. It's been a minute. Also, hi if you're new here. I'm Chris. I also go by CometKo/CometKo online. I don't know. Haven't figured it out yet. I think that's cemented as a catchphrase now. But let's be real. You saw the thumbnail. You read the title, maybe. Unless this came on autoplay, actually. But this is my 1,000 subscriber Q&A celebration video, whatever. That is incredibly long overdue. I have a video in the works sort of talking about where I've been for the past couple months, but to boil it down, college is a mother. I'm not monetized yet, so I'm allowed to say that in the first minute of the video, I think. But basically, school's been rough, just did not have the time or mental energy to film, so that's how we got here. 4 months later, and 260 subscribers after 1,000. Which, thank you for that to all the folks who are here. Sorry I have not posted at all. I have been doing stuff while away. My art has improved a ton because it's been 4 months. And I have been doing a shoot load. Trying not to curse too much because I do want to inevitably be monetized on here. I've been doing a lot of commission work, a lot of personal work as well. And yeah, I've just been drawing a lot and been having a good time. I am now mildly popular on Twitter within my niche fandom of Ruby, if you know what that show is. Side note, I usually do plugging stuff at the end, but if you want to keep up with me and stuff I've been doing, that's the place to really check it out. I don't really post on TikTok anymore. I never really post on Instagram. Twitter is where it's at, and you will be subjected to my unhinged ramblings at all hours of the day. Who wouldn't want that, you know? And in text form. What a world. During this video, I'm going to be answering your questions that you have asked a couple months ago at this point. Hopefully y'all are still around to watch. Simple premise, the profile picture I wound up drawing is 2 months old at this point, and even when I drew it, it's not my favorite thing in the world. Didn't feel super great about it. I've since made some edits to it, so it has grown on me more, but because it's not my favorite thing in the world, I thought I would also add on some extra drawing footage of something I'm a bit happier with. It's currently still a work in progress, mainly because I want to get this video out and finished, and I just don't really have time to draw that, and I'm also want to draw a little avatar animated version of me to put in the corner of the drawing footage, which I have not made yet. So I just don't got time. I have some commission work to do as well. I don't got time for that. I want to finish it soon, and I do want to make that a video, so let's call it like a little preview. You'll get to see a little bit of my sketching process. Stuff like that, the good stuff. And that is it. Now let's get into the video and your questions. Alright, we are recording. I feel like this is my first proper voiceover as a YouTuber. I am recording on the floor of my parents' walk-in closet with the door shut and a giant blanket over my head and the microphone during a heat wave. So, hope this goes well. You guys gave me some great questions. I'm going to get into those, but I also want to talk a little bit about the process of this piece. This sketch originally was from a crappy little notebook doodle I did in college that was so off-center because I'm trying to look like I'm paying attention, so I'm looking at the notebook from a really far angle. So it looked super slanted, even though it looked fine while I was drawing it the first time around. And you could see me use the liquefy tool a little bit to fix up the sketch a little bit. Then obviously I sketch over it, which leads here. I'm very happy Procreate has a time-lapse feature, because I did have some trouble during filming. Before I start going into questions, the brushes I used for this piece are Dry Ink brush, which is a Procreate default, the Psy lining brush, which was a brush I downloaded off the internet, which unfortunately no longer exists. The link is just no longer there, because the person who originally made it lost it, and a default soft brush, and that's all I used for this piece, I believe. While I line this piece, I'll start to get into some of your questions. Y'all gave me great questions, by the way. Just to start off with a question from Dragon Dan. What got me into art in the first place? I've been enjoying cartoons and video games and all sorts of media for basically my whole life. And once I started to have internet access, I very quickly became a observer of fandom and fandom spaces for the shows and things I like. And really it was fan artists that got me into it. I've said it before, I'm a big fan of the show RWBY. Growing up, I loved and still love cartoons, Adventure Time, Gravity Falls, the whole shebang. And later on in middle school, I got a little bit into anime and stuff, and yeah, it sort of just started there. Just such amazing fan art online. I was like, oh, I want to do that. And that's really where that inclination began. Arthur Kirkland's favorite asks, when you fall into a slump and don't know what to draw, what motivates you to keep working through it instead of just quitting? That's a great question. And I think there's a bit of a nuanced answer there, because sometimes quitting is okay. If I'm stuck working on a piece that just isn't working for me, sometimes what's best to do is to just step away for maybe a day, maybe a week, and just give yourself time, and when you come back to it, you'll find what's not working for you. And that goes for art in general. Sometimes you just do need a break. Taking care of yourself, going outside, going on walks, engaging in media that inspires you, books, television, cartoons, stuff like that, is all really important for the artistic process. I don't know who this quote originates from, but I remember Cheyenne Barton saying it in one of her videos. She's another artist here on YouTube. But you can't pour from an empty cup. Your cup needs to be full in order for you to pour it out and make some good drawings. So if you're at a spot where you feel like you can't continue, fill up your cup with things that you love and things that you like to do. And then once you come back to it, you'll be ready to draw again. Next from, I hope I'm saying this right, Gifar Esmeos 6320. My question is, where do you recommend that someone starts their art journey in order to get to a level where they can create their own OCs and have somewhat consistent art style? Should we, example, start with anatomy, figures and gestures, perspective, etc.? Well, you sort of answered your own question. That is exactly where you should start. But I do have a little more to add. Learning the fundamentals of art is incredibly important to honing your craft, and it is really where everyone should start. However, practice isn't all you should do. Whatever you have fun drawing, draw that. Draw fan art, or if you have one OC that you really like to draw them. Or whatever it is, really just draw consistently and do so in a way that's sustainable for you. Something that's also been really helpful to me is to study the styles of artists that I really admire. See what you can take from them and what you want to like bring into your art. That's the thing about art styles. They really are more your process rather than just how your art looks. Look at other people's processes, look at how they draw, and see what works for you. Like for me, I love to do line art. I admired a lot of really line art heavy art styles, and that's sort of what I pulled, and then specific tricks like how I do my line weight, how I do like a little ink-filled shadow under the chin. All that has come from other styles that have inspired me over the years. This next question is from Edgardo3791. For a larger piece of work that is going to take a little more time and planning, what do you do to plan for it, or what gets you prepared to take on the project? Oh, that's a great question. I wish I could answer it. Planning is not really something I do. I sketch a lot, so I come up with a lot of ideas. I have a folder on Procreate titled WIP, Work in Progress Hell, and there's like 30 files in there of like drawings in various states of being, and I jot all my ideas down in there, and then when the impulse strikes, I complete one in like a day or like a week. I really do want to start doing more in-depth and detailed like illustration pieces. But unfortunately, in the way I currently work, I can't really control when that happens. It's sort of just like when lightning strikes and then bam, I suddenly have a masterpiece on my hands or whatever. Now I'm going to go back to talking about the drawing a little bit. We are now in the flat color stage. This is another part of the drawing process that gave me a lot of trouble. I have Kel's color palette pretty well figured out. Oh, I forgot to say that. This profile picture is of my OC Kel. He's like essentially my like main OC, I guess you could say, the main character of the story that I'm working on, and he is the main guy. The main boy, really. Essentially, I have his color palette pretty well figured out, but sometimes the colors just feel off and I want to make changes. But, yeah, the colors were giving me a lot of trouble, especially because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the background of the profile picture. And that has been my major struggle with this piece. I realized, looking back on this, and that's why I eventually made more edits to this a month and a half after drawing it, because I realized how badly I messed up that eye. In the sketching process, it looked fine, and it still looks fine when it's a sketch, but for whatever reason, that eye makes no sense in the side profile view. Giving me so much trouble. And the shadows. Shadows were another thing that gave me a lot of trouble. The shadow colors gave me a lot of trouble for this piece. I knew I wanted it to be a bit more dramatic looking of the piece. He's looking sternly off into the distance, but for a profile pic, I feel like it's maybe a little too ambitious with that. I feel like it could just be maybe what I wanted it, what I really wanted was something a bit more like simpler and lighter in tone, I guess, if that makes sense. But now let's get into some more questions. And these are more OC focused. Tico Get asks, what are some random details about your characters that you've been itching to share but haven't had the proper opportunity to bring up? Kel, who you're seeing now, is a baker. He works at one of his mom's bakeries. Aaron, who's another one of my main trio, he plays guitar, mainly acoustic. And Mara, she's weirdly good at breakdancing. Like, weirdly good at it. They also asked, who are your favorite lesser-known artists on here and why? Do you look up to their style, process, just their charisma, etc.? I believe this was asked on YouTube. I feel like a lot of the artists I follow are pretty well known. Folks like ABD Illustrates, Lee Alexson, Cheyenne Barton, Prickly Alpaca, and Lil Star Nerd, and Jamie Green are all artists I really admire on YouTube. And also folks I've taken a lot of inspiration from for this channel and how I make my videos. And sort of all of the above. They all have very distinct art styles, and they all inspire me in different ways. Same thing with how they make their videos. They're all great, and you should go check out their stuff. Emmy Lemmy asked about my OCs and just general character stuff and about the magic powers they have. The power system in my story is sort of Avatar-esque, sort of Dragon Prince-esque as well. It's a little bit convoluted, and I'm still working out the kinks of it, but it's sort of like a soft magic system where people are born with one of 4 sigils that denotes what type of magic they can do. The 4 types are plant and nature, energy for fighting and lasers, mind magic for telepathy and illusions, and soul magic, which is sort of like healing but also draining people's life force, sort of like Moira from Overwatch now that I think about it. But yeah, I'm still working out the kinks of that whole magical system, but essentially everyone's born with it. Everyone's born with a mark that denotes what type of magic they can do, all except for one person. And that is why the story they are in is called Markless. Get it? Because there's a mark, and one of them is Markless, because they don't have one. Yeah, it'll make sense as I post more about the story and write it and figure it out, but yeah. Cassie the Tree asked me about the looks like a cinnamon roll but could kill you, looks like a cinnamon roll but is a cinnamon roll, looks like they could kill you, would kill you, looks like they could kill you, is a cinnamon roll, that whole question for my OCs. And I would have to say Kel, who you are looking at now, looks like a cinnamon roll, is a cinnamon roll. Mara looks like a cinnamon roll, could kill you. Aaron looks like he could kill you, but is a cinnamon roll. And then Forrest, who is a character I have not shown too much, actually. They look like they could kill you, and probably could. More on them later. Beansprout2478 asks, without story spoilers, could you tell us what is something that would absolutely break them? Angsty. Yeah, sure. All my characters have a little bit of a dynamic that could be, maybe a little codependent, possibly. But I would say, for Kel, if he got any of his friends hurt. For Mara, if any of her friends left her. And for Aaron, if he was unable to protect any of his friends. Kel and Aaron's are a little bit similar, but they're distinct, trust me. Yeah. Kaylin Isbet asks, what plans do you have for your OCs? Would you consider putting them in a webcomic or animation? All of the above. The main thing that I'm planning on doing with them is writing a light novel, which is essentially a novel, but there are illustrations without and sort of comic paneling sort of strewn without. I actually need to read some light novels to study up on how they're typically done, because I have actually never read one. Unless you consider iFunny by James Patterson and Diary of a Wimpy Kid a light novel. But I don't think those really count. But essentially, it's a YA novel, but with illustrations within and throughout the story, and they're an integral piece of it. I would love to do comics with them. Those would probably be something more shorter little comics that I just post online and not a long-running webcomic. And the dream goal is to get my novel published and eventually picked up by an animation studio to make it into a full-fledged cartoon. Because that is just what I've always dreamed of for them. Han SC2K1 asks, how did your characters meet? They are childhood best friends with a sibling-like dynamic. Now for some more general questions. At Mars Speedway asks, do you have a favorite band? Favorite band. I would have to say Hey Nothing. They're a indie folk band of 2 people, and I really, really love their music. Favorite musical artist in general really runs the gamut. I really love Casey Lee Williams and her work on Ruby and with OK Goodnight, her band. Leve, I'm a really big fan of her music. But yeah, those are the folks I've been listening to as of late. Also Henri. If you ever want amazing 80s J-pop, so good. She's so good. They also ask, is there a video game that inspires you or that you really like? I would have to say, like, artistically, probably Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom. The art style in that, perfect. Amazing. Chef's kiss. They also asked about my favorite art supply, and I'd have to say the Pentel RSVP ballpoint pens in the fine size, especially the dark blue color. That is the best pen to sketch with, ever. And here begins the struggles, my struggles with that darn background. Oh, that background gave me so much trouble. I could not figure out what I wanted to do with it. The Autumn Season asks, what my favorite Studio Ghibli movie is. Howl's Moving Castle. Best movie ever made. There are a lot of best movies ever made, but it's one of them. It's so good. Han FC2KI asks, do you play D&D? I do not. I want to so bad. I have so many character ideas. I've watched so much Dimension 20. I'm ready. I have the dice. I just need to find folks to play with. But yeah. Strawberry Swifty asks, opinion on Taylor Swift? Neutral. Very sorry, Strawberry Swifty. No thoughts. Strawberry Swifty asks, what's my favorite artwork I've ever done? Whatever I put on the screen right now. My favorite piece changes, like, daily. It's typically whatever the most current piece I have done is, because it shows how far, like, my skills have improved. They also ask what my favorite breakfast food is, and it is toast and tea. I have that every morning, and it's probably not a good idea, but I don't know, man. We peaked as a society when we made toasted bread with butter on it and served it with tea. I'm just saying. And lastly, Sam Lin asks a really great question that I wanted to answer. They said, you and a couple other Gen Z artists I recently started watching have such similar styles. Is there a particular artist y'all were inspired by, besides general manga/anime and TikTok/social media inspo? I mean, your style is distinctly yours, but there's something about the way y'all draw faces and use color that feels convergent. This is a really interesting question to me, and I think it has a lot to do with how artists are learning to draw now. I've noticed that there's a trend that if you are a young artist, you can get good at art extremely fast. I do think it has something to do with, like, that we're all watching similar media and inspired by similar pieces of media. But I more so think it has to do with how accessible learning to draw is. You know, obviously anyone with a pencil and paper can do it. But also it's just like drawing tablets are a lot easier to get your hands on now. I mean, heck, if you have an iPad and an Apple Pencil, you get Procreate for $15 and then you're set with like a extremely advanced drawing software. And it's not just like the tools are accessible, it's also that the learning material is too. I feel like we're all probably learning from like the same how to draw faces tutorial or how I color or paint tutorial, either here on like YouTube or on Instagram or on Pinterest. A lot of these amazing resources are just available for everyone online, and a lot of us are pulling from the same resources. And I think that's pretty cool, actually. I think it's really neat that learning to draw really is so accessible. And yeah, hope these answers have been good. To talk a little bit about the drawings that are on screen, you could see me use the liquify tool a bit more to finish up the Kel PFP. And for the little bit of extra drawing, is a OC poster I've been working on of the main trio. Yeah, I just want to do something like fun and colorful. You can see I took sketchbook drawings and then like collaged them in. Initially I want to do like a floating heads type poster, but eventually I put them all on the same plane, and you could see me using the resize tool to try and like make them look a little bit more correct in perspective, because perspective is so hard and I don't really know what I'm doing, but I think that's shaping up to look pretty good, and I'm hoping to make a video on that pretty soon. So yeah, that is it for the voiceover. Outro time. What do you think? Is it good? I think it's okay. I hope you liked the video. I hope my answers, which I have not recorded yet, are to your liking. Thought the art was good. The profile picture really has grown on me a little bit. Probably gonna change it. Poster, I'm probably just gonna like zoom in on Kel's face there and just make that my profile picture, since like he's sort of the mascot, or my main/mascot character. Probably gonna do that because I'm liking how that other drawing is shaping up a lot more, but honestly, I think I was probably being a little over dramatic about the profile picture that I did draw. I think it's fine. I think it's alright. Yeah. I hope you liked this video. With me, again, Twitter, links in the link places, description. If you're also interested in getting commissions from me, all of that information is solely on Twitter. I might be a little bit too overrun with requests if I do it through YouTube as well. Just on Twitter, because I have enough people over there who want to support me like that, which is great, but not necessary. If you want further ways to support me, I have a Redbubble shop now, which is pretty neat. Like I said, I've been very active on Ruby fandom Twitter currently. So it's almost entirely fan art. So if you like that niche little web series like I do, good for you. There's a lot of stickers and prints and designs that you can buy over there. The profile picture I just drew is also a design over there, so you can pick that up too. I plan on having a lot more stuff up. There's gonna be more Ruby fan art. Once I finish it, I do really want to put that poster OC design up as prints and stickers, because I think it's gonna be really good. Also, other fandom stuff, probably Dimension 20. Big fan of them, my favorite D&D show. I'd love to make some stickers for that. If you have suggestions for that, let me know. It is Redbubble, so we have to be discreet about it. Pick stuff that, you know, the parent companies are okay with you doing. So anything owned by Disney or Nintendo will get copyright taken down in an instant. So that's a little bit less feasible, but I'll see what I can do. Test the waters there. But yeah, if you want to give me extra support, you can do there. Not necessary. There are much more important places where your money can go. If you feel like it, that would be greatly appreciated, especially since I haven't monetized YouTube with ads since yet, and still haven't gotten that Squarespace deal. Still haven't gotten it. Squarespace, Skillshare, where are you? I'm an art YouTube channel. Please, please sponsor me. That's a joke. Sorta. About all I have for you. I think that about covers it, but yeah. You like this video? Leave a like or subscribe. Hit that bell or whatever YouTubers are supposed to say. Apparently it helps me out, and I'm gonna choose to believe that's true. So, much appreciated. Go drink water, go have a snack, and go draw or something, you know? Hopefully I'll see you soon, and it won't take me 4 months to make another video.